Ladies and gents, welcome to Titan Esports, the Divinity League. It is going to be the semi-finals. My name is Dance, or Adam, to some of you who may know me that way. And I'm joined by Lucian over on the desk, looking around, unfamiliar with being in this side of the box, it seems. But it's going to be a fun time. You're in the same spot. You always work in that spot. And yeah, now we're just putting you on camera as well.
Oh, that's just fantastic. But you know what? Regardless of whether or not I don't know where I am, I do know that we have an exciting matchup tonight. One area where I can definitely say that we're going to be seeing some spicy things happening is definitely with these two teams in the semifinals happening. I would love to see where they're going to take us on this journey of a best of five. Hopefully not leading us into too late. I'm already tired. I might need to have a coffee or two, and it's already 8 o'clock here. But you know what? I think I want to see what's going to happen. Dawes, you actually had some comments, though, on what you thought was going to be going on for this game.
Yeah, of course, the matchup, as you guys can see at the top of the screen, it's somewhere up there. I haven't worked out the point. I sort of got it. Is Eclipsing Tides versus Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. And I'll be honest, I'm very familiar with Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. I feel like I keep casting their games. They keep popping up as the kind of feature match every single week when I'm around.
They're like the cat that keeps
definitely
coming
works out
back,
really nicely.
honestly.
Yeah. Exactly. So they have been a pretty outstanding team over the course of this split. I mean, the big player on that team is, of course, Singular Bread. That is going to be the jungler. And I think that's where the difference is going to be made, right? Like, the meta feels very safe and very focused around the junglers. So being able to play to that and see, you know, can he get involved early? Can he, you know, set these lanes up for success? I always think about the two solo lanes that get a lot of attention from that side of things. You know, seems to make a lot of sense because that bot lane as well for Team Ambition Crab Wranglers in Big News and Atom have always been pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, I would love to see where we're going to see that kind of end up from that matchup as well, too, because the very big truth that we have here is that the bot lane is kind of in contention for who's going to be stronger in these matchups. We've seen incredible things out of Easy and Zond in that bot lane, but we've also seen Okina definitely show some strength there as well too, regardless of who he's with, whether it's Adam or Dark or whoever, like Team Ambition decides to put anywhere really on the map. I guess that's another question too. Are we going to see them just put anyone anywhere? Because I really don't know how to read this team anymore. It's kind of been difficult over the course of the season. I'll definitely say though that we are looking to get into the draft as I shoot off the message here and say that we are going into the draft, and let's send it and see what's going to be happening here, Dawes.
Yep, let's take a look at what they're getting into in this one. Of course, the draft, really important in game one, sets the tone for exactly where they want to take the game, where they want to focus those early picks and get things going. So it's the standard issue draft, and we'll see what the bans show. I think bans usually show where players are trying to go to. The Eclipsing Tides will be taking blue side in this one, with Team Ambition Crab Wranglers over on the red side. So they have access to the counter pick on that last pick as well. And the first ban is going to be that Swain for Eclipsing Tides.
I will say that Swain is definitely one of the stronger picks that we ever see across any league that I've definitely taken my eye to dig into. It's a pick that allows a good halt. Or at least a slowdown in a lot of engage. And from what I have seen of Eclipsing Tides, they have a tendency to have very quick execution. I've had a thought for a while that definitely says, should they have anything to impose on that execution, we might end up seeing you know, maybe not as clean calls coming through. Lulu answered back, though, they do not want a safe game for that AD carry and Easy.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing there, watching the hovers coming through as well, it was Nami, it was Yumi, and it's going to be the Lulu. So a definite focus on the support of Eclipsing Tides, making things way harder for Easy to be able to play the game as freely as maybe they would like to. It's going to be a Wukong coming through second for Eclipsing Tides, a pick that's been around quite a while, and a pick that can obviously flex around a little bit too, being able to go between the jungle and the top lane. It's not really the top laner it used to be, but also, you know, it can pivot into the mid lane.
There's a ton of possibilities that we could definitely see from it. I'm curious to see about at any point when you're going to be watching a draft, any team that knows has their salt's worth of understanding for what they want to get rid of is also generally showing something that they want to do, and just what they don't want to deal with what they want to do. Wukong is one of those champions that allows both for an engage, a solid engage, team side engage, as well as that disengage portion for if there is any sort of dive onto him. The answer back, of course, coming back over from the Sivir, that is going to be very much a hyper carry into the later portions of the game. A lot of wave clear, something that can definitely stall out a lot of stuff on that front. And the focus definitely coming in from TACW in the Crab Wranglers to say, bot lane, we want to put you on to something that is not of comfort. They've left the Aphelios up, even though that Aurelion Sol has been taken away, and I'm expecting to see it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the Sivir Nami going away, so that bot lane has been all 3 bans for Eclipsing Tides.
Veigar.
And of course, the Aurelion Sol, an easy one to pinch away, so that is something that has been ever-present since the rework, and it's probably about time. So Eclipsing Tides locking in the Veigar, maybe trying to get a little bit of information. They've got 2 more picks where they can definitely pick an AD carry, and if they're not worried about one of their power picks, like the Aphelios that you're talking about, being taken by the Crab Wranglers, I think they're probably in pretty good stead to leave that for another pick. But Veigar, the early pick there, not always so keen to see that early. It does commit you to this real scaling team comp and kind of offer that information. If you want to scale, let's go Jinx in response.
Very true. Yeah, bringing out another hyper carry on the other side. As much as the Veigar is a very strong pick, that cannot be denied, the first pickup is very questionable on it. Even if you are going to be looking to flex it into another lane, it can leave you kind of susceptible to losing that mid lane pretty heavily. Vel'Koz is an interesting answer, and I have actually seen some rumblings that it might not exactly be a great matchup for this Veigar. I'm curious to know what your take on it is.
I've seen it played a couple times now. I mean, I'm more familiar with the Vel'Koz support, but you know, that always felt like the right place for it after a while. But you know, it stays at range, right? And like Veigar wants to catch people coming in, catch people fighting forward. So being able to stay away and play the game in full, apologize for my cat, you know, is a very smart play. But thinking of staying at range and messing around, Seraphine is going to be the next lock-in for Eclipsing Tides, and it has to be the AD carry in this selection. I think they're probably going to play like a nice, safe, long-range lane, but you've already seen the Jinx, so you know you probably just take your AD carry here, or it's going to get double pinched. That said, they've pivoted over to the Jarvan. That's something that their jungler has been really big on, and it's also a really big takeaway from Singular Bread, who has been playing it pretty heavily recently. So
we kind of get a good gist of the idea of what's happening here in the first portion of the draft from Eclipsing Tides. We've got a lot of team fight potential coming out of them here. We also do kind of have a decent matchup there too with the Jinx and the Vel'Koz. Looking at the team fight, this is already looking like it is going to be a full-on forced team fight kind of matchup in the first game here, just looking at it. There's definitely more early pressure from the jungle so far, from what we can see. From that Jarvan, the Seraphine also allows for another extended reach outside of the fights with that. But Alistar also does bring the potential from the bot lane for those early roams. I'm curious to see how that'll end up turning up. Adam is very much known for grabbing those out and putting those out there. And we definitely could start to see some pressure happening just from taking over the river and possibly having the larger amount of wave clear there, which currently I'm expecting Jinx to kind of have that leading into it. But bans are already popping back up into here, and if Aphelios is taken away, what's next?
Yeah, Aphelios has to go here. It's something that is way too strong to give up, and that's why I'm shocked that the Jarvan got taken there. It just feels like something that, you know, maybe you could have exchanged it a little bit later in the draft. The Vi getting dropped as well, so trying to take away the jungle options for the side of Singular Bread, who is obviously the focal point, but there's still so many up that can be put to good use. One that I'm thinking of is the Zac, which I have to imagine has to be something that's considered for this fifth ban. The Caitlyn goes away too, though. So long range to kind of, you know, stand behind or next to this Seraphine, let the Jarvan make the engage. The long range follow-up from Aphelios, from Caitlyn, is being taken away. We'll see what Eclipsing Tides drop here. Kayle, that does leave a plethora of junglers.
I would have rather seen a jungler takeaway at this point in the game, regardless of how top lane is gonna maybe be expected to throw that up. It'd be an odd pick to kind of throw up as a scaling matchup here, but you never know. Maybe it was something that the Crab Wranglers were working on and something to take away from them, but they've got 5 seconds to lock down one more thing here, and it's the Poppy. That is one that definitely Jarvan does not enjoy.
Yeah, this strategy that's being like counter drafted by the Crab Wranglers seems very, very clear to me, right? It's all about stopping the engage, and at the current moment, the real focus is that Jarvan from Eclipsing Tides. Jarvan will go in with the flag and drag, the EQ combination, and then, you know, while they're all in that circle in the Cataclysm, then they are going to be able to, you know, you're going to be able to drop a cage over them from the Vigar. You're going to be able to run the Seraphine ult through them, and then that's going to, you know, just allow whatever you take as a carry to go. They're committing to this dropping circles play. We've now got Camille coming through. The Hextech ultimatum.
Have we thought that that the Vigar could be bot lane too? That's still a possibility. I know we still got like a little bit of time. It is a thing, right?
It could be. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think you take
it's not.
Vigar into.
Oh my.
Yeah, the Vigar wouldn't go into the Jinx. This draft from Eclipsing Tides has really shown. Honestly, I think they've been pinched a little bit. This is going to be a Yone. So lane assignments are yet to be seen. That is something that I think only the game will show. But honestly, I mean, I don't mind these picks individually. I just don't know if all 5 of them come together well.
I feel like it's going to be rough. Like the area to look at them, like from a flat out look as a full champion composition, looks fine. Oh man, the Mordekaiser. Yeah.
This is a really solid Mordekaiser pick, and it's something that I'm a big fan of. I know Zemnan and I both love a good Mordekaiser. Here's the problem, right? That Mordekaiser is going to be eaten good. Eclipsing Tides have 3 members of their team whose whole job is to run forward at you. Camille, Jarvan, and Yone. As soon as one of those engages, this is what's going to be really rough for them in a team fight. Yone dashes in, or Camille bounces in off the wall, Jarvan flags and drags in, and even if you're going in 2 at a time, the Mordekaiser just uses the death realm. That fight is now unfair. If it's a full-on team fight, Poppy can knock some other people away, Alistar can bounce people out with the headbutt, or just knock them up with the headbutt pulverized combination, and then you're in an unfair numbers fight. So they have drafted this massive team fight comp, but Crab Wranglers have drafted this anti-team fight break it apart comp, and that is where I think the real strength lies.
There's definitely the question of that maybe the Jinx pick was a bit of a bait to think that they were going to go for a protect the 80 carry, but I'm looking at this comp right now, and well, don't get me wrong, like Jinx definitely has a position in this fight here, but if you decide to dive the backline, you're kind of you're making a mistake. And when your entire comp's identity is kind of built around that and then setting up the front to back afterwards, while you're not realistically going to have that fair fight happening, there is definitely some concern. I also did want to make a weird mention too, because we got to remember, we're dealing with the Crab Wranglers here. Do you thought that Alistar might also be mid? I was thinking about it for just a second.
I don't think it makes sense against the Vigar.
It was played earlier, though, so I'm concerned. I'm afraid looking at what they're going to do at this point. I don't know. I really don't. I like. There's a ton of possibilities. I guess we'll really have to wait until we actually see it in the game. I'm gonna ask to see if we've got a little bit of a prediction on your side for how it's gonna go, but I feel like we're both kind of singing the same song right now in terms of where our loyalties are gonna lie at this point now. And for my end, I'm thinking that Crab Wranglers, they definitely got the better counter draft. It'll just come down to on my side to see if they can execute it in a way that it's made to counter it in the first place.
Well, what I really don't love is drafting Camille Yone into Poppy, right? Like, that doesn't feel very sensible to me. And obviously, I can be proved wrong, right? And there is a world where, like, Poppy can only stop things around Poppy. So if Poppy is caught out of position, like, it really is down to the team fight execution. If they can catch Poppy out of position, you know, go round that and be able to dash and, you know, get onto the Jinx, and these fights fall apart. But the big thing here is if you're not getting anywhere near that Jinx, you are, of course, just, you know, letting the rockets wail on you, and that's going to be a massive problem. Apologies, I have to step away for 2 seconds to deal with this.
I feel like you should be asking the cat what the draft's actually going to be at this point. Now it's kind of an interesting, probably got an interesting take at this point. Dawes, what's your cat's name?
His name's George, and I haven't seen him for like 3 days, so he's not having a great time. So I
Oh,
just had to pop it in the side room.
Maybe
But
George is making a prediction.
yeah, George is very confused by this draft too. He's also a terrible drafter, but you know it is what it is, and that's why he's a cat. So yeah, I think Eclipsing Tides, in my book, their goal right now is to prove me wrong,
True.
and prove that they can execute this comp better than Crab Wranglers who just have to sit on the defense.
I'll agree. I think I'm going to agree with George on this one too, though, because I think if you look at TACW and you spell it backwards, what does that say? That says WCAT.
Yep.
And at that point, George is right. I'm throwing this one all on to the Crab Wranglers. They got it. They got George's support. They got my support. They got Dawes' support. That's how it's going to end up. That's really how I'm keeping this one.
Yeah, it feels solid. It's a bit of a stretch on your methodology, but you know what? I'll run with it. I will say it's been quiet on the old predictions. I'm just checking chat right now. I will put my channel points in to see what we got going, but we'll see if I can cash in some of them.
What the channels one? It says I have infinite channel points because I'm connected to the Titan one right now. I guess I'm not allowed to really vote into that one, am I?
Yeah, probably not. I will say that there's a lot to this comp. Honestly, this draft, right? I think the bans have made this like really awkward pick really obvious, right? It's like you took away Sivir, Aphelios, Caitlyn. Unless this is some like pocket pick comp that they've been working on all week, you have to imagine that they wanted a traditional AD carry. I don't see a world where looking at their team, like a traditional ADC was not the choice here. Particularly with that being the focal point of their team. So yeah, definitely a lot to answer for as we get into the game.
For sure. And with that one too, let's put it into the loading screen here, and definitely, well, we'll see you once the game gets started up here in the next few minutes. But I think we're going to be starting off for a good game one for this first of the series. We'll see you soon.
Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back to our semi-finals here on the Rift for Titan Esports. This is Divinity League, it's Eclipsing Tides, it's the Crab Wranglers, and they are setting up with their lane assignments. So I think we had it pretty locked down for the side of Crab Wranglers with the Mordekaiser, the Poppy, the Vel'Koz, the Jinx, and then the Alistar. And we figured it out towards the end. On the side of Eclipsing Tides with Camille, Jarvan, Yone, then the Veigar, and then the Seraphine. So it's a pretty aggressive bot lane, and it's also a very frail bot lane, which could get punished either way. They're doing a standard spread out across the river, everyone being quite respectful of each other. I don't think anyone's going to be able to grab an early advantage there.
Yeah, I am both happy and disappointed to see that we don't have an Alistar mid, but I mean, you know, that's sometimes just the price you kind of pay for when you have such high expectations out of a team. I will say it'll be interesting to see how it'll all pan out, though, going forward. The jungler portion of this is kind of the one that's definitely to watch, and not for just the standard pathing, but to kind of see where the reaction is going to be coming here from Singular Bread, as he is going to be angling between the different lanes and trying to just catch the Jarvan trying to catch more than likely the Vel'Koz here in this mid lane.
Yep, well, it is standard starts for both sides, both junglers starting on the red side, or on the bot side, sorry. So it's going to be the blue buff for the Poppy, and then the red buff for the Jarvan. Jarvan going a little more aggressive, though, heading over to the blue buff immediately, looking for a potential early gank on, like you say, either the Vel'Koz of Darkwenser, or going to be that Mordekaiser of Stubby. But Mordekaiser, pretty tanky to deal with. This is going to be an early engage from the Yone of Cam. Just trying to get in, get those trades down early, because Vel'Koz, not exactly a champion that can recover as well as something like the Yone. Bot lane's going to be left alone for a little bit. We're just going to have a little bit of fun.
I'm definitely wondering how this matchup will go now, because the original idea behind it was that we were going to be seeing this Vel'Koz into the Veigar. Yone does definitely win into a Vel'Koz, so there is definitely the pressure point to be had there. We're going to see how that one will match up, but we do have Singular Bread already meeting up over the tops lane here, definitely taking a look, and they're just kind of saying hi and goodbye or quickly to the ward that was placed down here, and still hovering as well too. But we haven't really seen too much action already in the first 3 minutes, at least not as much as you would like to see with a Jarvan early picks here.
Yeah, the Jarvan actually ended up walking towards the top side of the map, but the Poppy from Singular Bread got there first, so kind of threatening off that gank a little bit, you know, just making sure that it's not going to be the one that's wanted. Darkwenser and Cam continue to trade, and Darkwenser's finally on top, just getting out of these, landing some good Qs in response. Bot lane is going exactly how I expected, with the Jinx and the Alistar able to push in and apply that pressure. That said, Darkwenser is burning through mana. Stubby and EX, playing this one kind of as expected. I don't think Stubby wins it super early. But EX
they're Batman though. Oh, it doesn't matter. What's happening on boss side?
Yeah, there's ganks or fights going on both sides. That is going to be Atom going forward, supporting Big News. Hasn't been able to get that trade wanted, and hasn't actually popped the summoners of the Veigar, but both summoners down for the Seraphine on that side. Looking back towards the top, it feels like it's kind of all been called off. Singular Bread though is waiting in the bush, and Batman is going to get pushed around. That flag and drag is blocked. He's gone against the wall. That's going to be Batman.
The fail flash too.
Oh, it's a lot. There's a lot of damage coming down. He's desperate for the blast cone. That is a fantastic flash by Singular Bread to get in the way. Cam's getting punished on the other side of the fight, and Singular Bread looking for it. That is going to be the passive, getting a little extra damage down, but that is a really rough time for the side of Eclipsing Tides. Two players. Again, I'm going with the trainers. I've just got back from a Pokemon event, giving up a number of resources. 2 flashes burned there. To be able to cause those problems.
Here still.
Singular Bread says no. Oh, not able to shut it down.
Oh,
he's still gets some blood.
Oh well, I mean, like loss of a summoner as well as his life. So that's not the greatest way that you want to be starting that one, and that's deep for that kill. That's for sure. Definitely wasn't expecting that. Batman kind of caught with his pants down. You know, I thought he was just supposed to be wearing his underwear on top of his pants. This one, he was just flat out in the nude. Now I don't really know how you're supposed to deal with it. You pick the Jarvan to get that early pressure, and you're the one who's getting the pressure given onto you. This definitely gives a massive map pressure lead that is going to start bleeding across the map. It's something that we should probably take a look at as we start to see vision lines that are going to start to be pushed up here and placed down. The Dragon as well here too definitely sits over at an advantage here with this Poppy picking up a Sheen early on.
Yeah, that was a fantastic use of the Iron Ambassador throughout. Atom, though, is getting caught out here. Really nasty. There's going to have to be a flash. The Jarvan trying to make up, go back for a gank, and a really nice headbutt just to get back over to the minions. So not able to do that. And that's more time spent. Stubby and EX fighting out in the top lane. Atom needs to go back. The healing up is going to take way too long with that passive, but it does mean that, of course, the Dragon is something that they may be looking at. Jarvan getting in there, trying to, you know, figure out what's going on with it. Atom needs to leave here at some point soon, but Cam is struggling. The ult is through. Batman's following, so this is the gank on the Velcro you were looking for. And Dark Lens is just now dead.
Yeah, the damage is still definitely going to be there in that early portion, so it's not completely over. What are you doing, Adam?
What is he doing?
What are you doing?
He's gonna dodge the turret. Oh, well,
he stopped one of the best.
Yeah, he managed to stop the back of Zonfly, look, which is nice for breaking it up, but Vigar is the one that gets out and is going to be able to teleport back for the side of Easy. So big news, and Atom in an awkward position. Really haven't been able to command this lane as much as they were early, and that's Adam finally getting back to the base.
Yeah, but I would actually like to see when Jinx is going home here, because Jinx has just been farming this whole time, hasn't gotten the back off, actually picked up the cull, and taking a lot of hits from this Vigar here. Really needs that reset to maybe get into this next fight. With the Dragon not being taken, it definitely does spell up the question on as to who's actually going to get to this first. With Vel'Koz, you actually have an insane amount of push and priority within those lanes, and you can actually see here what's happening is that every time that Cam has decided to kind of move up or move outside of that lane, there's constantly been the pressure there. Dark actually chose to stay a little bit too far forward instead of just clearing and backing the last time, which is why he ended up getting caught out. But if this does continue to happen, it does make getting priority and setting up properly for this Dragon very difficult for this ET squad.
Yeah, this is another great trade from Cambo. It's going to be the focus of the team. It's going to eat the whole ult. No dashes left, so Dark Wenser not able to clean that one up, but able to get a great trade there. Going to keep playing with the Mathematician, try and get those angles, not able to land them. Stubby and EX over in the top lane having a good fight, but Batman is here. Stubby, though, is level 7, so does have access to that. Can immediately go in the death round, and this is going to be very rough.
Oh no.
EX is taken down. The shield is popped. Cam has roamed up, but it's still just a 1-for-1 with Vel'Koz getting free farm and Poppy not needed to do anything. Poppy tracing down that river, maybe looking for Cam. I'm not sure if that's the play right now, just off the level differential, but could be an option as the trades continue in the bot lane.
The ult coming down.
Yeah, that is going to be the ult. Isn't quite going to be able to get the kill there. Cam realizing that maybe Dark Wenser's aggressive pathing gives word that Singular Bread is around, but going back in for it now with all of this damage, they are going to have to leave. So Eclipsing Tides are winning these top lanes as, a real easy tidy up there from the Vigar, being able to just use the Primordial Burst. And that's a kill for Easy.
Yeah, it's looking like there is a bit more of a power discrepancy in that bot lane matchup right now, but the reasoning isn't because of the matchup itself. It's actually, in my opinion, mostly down to these back timings. The back timings being so improper, set up here from Big News, has kind of left him with his pants down. There's a lot of pantses being... Pantses? Is that a... Pants being down?
Pants in the down position, yes.
Yes,
that's going to be another
we'll
gank, though, onto Stubby. So this Mordekaiser taking so much away. And now Batman is caught under the tower in the Cataclysm. A quick dance there from the Mordekaiser shows that this is going to be the focal point. And honestly, I think now, the bot lane sort of got away from you a little bit. Maybe the mid lane, looking a little bit tough. Go full send onto that Mordekaiser because Stubby is well ahead in this matchup.
Yeah, and I can see why there was the Stubby fanboys. Fanboys and girls, we're not going to discriminate here. In the chat there, definitely popping out as we do see that TACW, we have the Crabblingers, takes it. They take the first dragon, which actually is fairly beneficial for them. That is a fantastic dragon to grab this early on. The attack speed, the cooldown reduction, matched over though by the Herald over on the other side of the map here, with Eclipsing Tides. Wondering where they're going to be putting that into. There isn't really any area currently where they have the ability to get a massive amount of prio outside of bot lane. And if I'm being honest, I feel like freeing up the bot lane to go mid is actually not exactly the worst thing to do. So there might have to be what might have to be the way that they're going to be taking it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tough ask, right? You've got Stubby in the top lane is absolutely commanding that one against EX, and is now going to be able to start causing problems. Cam, though, has gone in. It does make the play. Singular Bread is here. He's in the wall, and we know what's coming. That's an easy shutdown onto Singular Bread. Adam was there for good measure. Pops the ult to get away, but talking of taking plates, it's now going to be some extra plates for Dark Wenser. So, you know, maybe looking a little bit behind in the kills, but is up in farm, is up in plates as well. Batman just walking into a full exchange and an ultimate from Dark Wenser. That is so much damage.
We're getting a preview of like what's going to be happening going forward here, if I'm looking at that correctly. That is a crazy, absolutely absurd amount of damage that's happening out of Dark Wenser, and that is very, very early on here, and that's before we're looking at the full team fight setup that can be had here, that just kind of enables them in these fights. Big news though, caught in the oh man, what do we got?
It doesn't matter
here?
though, Big News is not the one that's needed. As easy as slammed into the wall. There's going to be damage coming down from Big News. Flashes away from the Vigard W, and now the rockets are coming. So 2 kills going over, and both of them handed over to the Jinx of Big News. The Super Mega Death Rocket there made it so easy to get the reset, get the cleanup, take down both Easy and Zon Lilac.
Yeah, I'm adjusting stuff in the chat real quick there because it's distracting me. Hey, yeah, a lot of stuff happening on this front here. That was a huge swing though too. We're kind of seeing the power spikes that is going to be happening with this power, like with this composition that is set up to match against. Viger pop. Oh, I don't.
There is a lot coming out from Easy there. He does get the kill, but it is on the support. So this is going to be an interesting one. There is obviously a lot of suns being expended there. And the big thing here is Atom's gone back and got a pretty good item. And of course, Jinx has gone back and got a really good item as well in that Gale Force. So now Singular Red caught in the cage, the event Horizon, causing some problems there, but not able to capitalize off that. This is once again Cam just eating the whole ult. Yes, the early trades were bad, but Dark Wenser is now dominating that mid lane.
Yeah, looking like a bit of a situation happening from mid lane here. Dark Wenser actually got his first kill with that one, but oh wow, immediately thrown back over on a Singular Bread and dropping that Herald down here. Big news, you gotta leave, because there is big news that is happening in the bot lane, and it is not currently you. It is everything else that's happening in regards to what's happening around you. Oh wow, actually stopping that one. I was not expecting that one to be the case here. Is delayed over. I was not looking to see that, but apparently they do delay that push happening. I guess the last plate was not removed before the charge went off there.
No, so not getting the full value out of that Rift Herald, not opening up that bot side of the map, and the big thing there is that kind of keeps things going as well. The one thing I want to say about the bot lane, it has been really good event horizons over and over again for the side of Vigar, but with only 2 targets, it's going to be much easier to do than, you know, in a team fight as well. You know, the combination between the Seraphine and the Vigar has caused a number of issues for both Big News and Atom, who just kind of keep running into it a little bit, but I don't know how much longer that one goes. There it is. He's trying again, fishing for it, and when it misses, let's see what the trade looks like now. Is it's just a clean push.
It really is, and we just constantly see this happening over and over again. It is honestly getting Big News and Adam kind of in some trouble here by constantly shoving over, and they do need to have these wards in these positions in order to enable them to actually play this lane. If that wasn't the case, we'd be seeing something very different, and we'd see a lot of lane games popping in through here. But for right now, it's a lot of just kind of teeter-tottering, or a little bit of a tug-of-war with pushing this lane back and forth. And the same thing we just see from Dark, where he's constantly tossing it over. Oh boy, Adam though.
Yeah, Adam's gone in there, doesn't realize exactly what's coming. There's so much damage coming down. That is going to be a miss on the ultimate from Vigar. We're waiting for Poppy to go over the wall. There's the teleport. Atom is down, but this has got real nasty. Batman is stuck in there.
Oh,
Dark Wings is getting fought in the mid lane too. A flash will get him away from the Camille, but it's not going to be enough from the Hextech ultimatum. Does try and pop the ult and get something, but in the bot side of the map, Batman is going down to that rocket.
Oh, Jinx excited though.
Is walking
no,
into the event
matter.
horizon, easily popped by the Seraphine, and I do think that Team Ambition Crab Wranglers are going to have to get out. Stubby and Singular Bread, the only two fighting it out down here now, with Atom only just leaving the base, and that dragon is going to be going over.
And that was a lot of fighting in a very short period of time. I definitely could have been a better execution done over from Crab Wranglers, and their loss from it is a Cloud Dragon. And while it's not normally, under a lot of other circumstances, going to be that most effective is grabbing that Cloud Dragon. We're going to see what's popping up here next. The Infernal Soul, as it's going to create those Inferno blazes across the map. It pops out here. The way that fight was approached, I want to say that it's actually different to take the approach down to saying that Cloud Drake is actually likely going to have a decent cause and effect in this game.
The big thing as well, the Infernal Drake takes away walls, which really limits Singular Bread's options, right? Like, I know you want it for the damage, which would be great for Dark Wenser and Stubby and Big News, but losing those walls is actually really annoying, because when you want to do the heroic charge, that's going to be big. Dark Wenser and Cam just trading back and forth, like we've seen all game, and just trying to cause problems that way. There was a quick rotation there into the bot lane, and of course, you know, I don't think either side really got what they want. But that said, we are now back to kind of the regular lane assignments. There are still all of the towers up on the map, so one team is going to try and break them.
Whoa.
This though is Cam getting caught by Atom. Is going to struggle, does have to dash back. Singular Bread coming, so I think it's Team Ambition.
We might have first tower here too, though, if they want to commit to it.
They're not looking to commit. They don't know where Batman is, but they're looking for a potential objective out of this. The warding is all around the Rift Herald. Look, we're exchanging pinks in that pixel brush. We're putting pinks going up that way, and now you've given up first turret, so you probably needed to push that one a little bit, as it is going to be easy taking that down. On the bot side, solo gold for it too, so really looking to make this Rift Herald worthwhile. Teleport's coming through into the mid lane. That is going to be Stubby caught out in the backside. Cam is going down. That's going to be a rocket.
Boy.
Jinx is excited, and I think now it's just an easy retreat from the side of Eclipsing Tides.
There's I was trying to come up with something where I said, like, there's a saying in Canada that goes like, oh, you know, don't let them take your maple syrup or something like that, and something about Quebec. I'm Canadian, so but I honestly forgot the entire joke. I'm not even going to attempt to do it anymore. Dark's caught. Wow, just ignore me.
Dark is caught. That's going to be an easy kill for Easy. Easy has been putting on a fantastic show, and now it's all about trying to get him taken out and get that shutdown. Zond Lilac getting hit with some rockets. Singular Bread going through, and that is going to be a super mega death rocket whiff, if you would say.
By the way,
not getting that. A TP from Cam into the mid lane, and now it's the side of Crab Wranglers who have to get out of there. Singular Bread and Big News are left defending this mid turret. There are no teleports available for the side of the Crab Wranglers, so it could be second turret falling back to back. That said, Stubby is going to level up the turret count 1-1, and EX now in danger, caught by Stubby. The shield is available at full health, and Stubby's in the
he dodged it though.
Yeah, you're going to be able to try and get that one down, but at some point, you know, you are going to have to answer for this one. But it's going to be a miss on the E, and now Stubby has to leave.
There's a huge rotation.
The team are going top. There's a massive rotation, and I do not think Stubby has a way out of this, especially without his Death Realm to get in there. The extra blast cone could help, but no. Batman, Cam, and EX.
What a flash!
To get him under
Doesn't
the
matter,
turret,
but that was clean.
Yeah, it's a great play to show off, but now you've got to wonder, what are Crab Wranglers going to get on the rest of the map? Singular Bread and Big News loitering around Easy, but Easy, once again, being able to control things with the cage. Are they just going to try and go for it? No. Singular Bread goes up, throws down the passive, but is not able to get the turret knocked out. Dark Wentz is trying in the bot lane, and EX is here. This is going to be an easy kill for EX, but misses on the hook shot. So this is going to be a tough one. Once again, blast cones are huge here, and Dark Wentz should be able to walk away from this one.
Oh, that's
no.
Awkward.
Oh, if
it was for style points. It was for style points.
if EX was going for that one, would have been able to close that gap a lot easier. But things have been falling down a little bit for the Crab Wranglers. They've given up now a number of kills. It's 11-8 in the kill count, and they're about 1,000 gold behind. So probably looking for one of these actual team fights that they're built to really withstand. The team fight is where they come together, but it's all been skirmishes. It's all been scraps, and that's where Eclipsing Tides have done so well.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see what'll happen when we do get some of these bigger team fights. We do have a dragon that is going to be popping up here fairly shortly, probably within the next minute or so. I do not have the dragon timers pulled up, so that's unfortunate on my side. Let's do that real quick here and do a little cheatsy thing right there. In about 35 seconds, we've got a dragon spawning. That's wild. I could, wow, great information.
Yeah, it's a good time for it. So let's look at the vision for that. Let's talk about vision. You've got one or two wards coming around from the side of the Crab Wranglers, and it's looking like with that crab as well, it's going to be a really obvious engage for the side of Eclipsing Tides. Now, an extra ward coming down from Atom, who really hasn't had a huge impact in this game, does want one of those team fights. Good poke onto Zon Lilac from Dark Wenser, but let's make sure that we've got 5 for every team here. It is going to be all 5. It is going to be River priority, though, for the side of the Crab Wranglers.
I feel like Adam's not been utilizing his champion in the way that he should be right now, too. He should just be pretty often just playing for the defense as opposed to this. Oh,
well, there's the encore. That is Adam. Oh, boy. Already gone down, and now Cam is in the backline. The Poppy hasn't been able to get the play going, but Dark Wenser with a massive ult over the team. There is a lot of damage still coming, though. They haven't been able to get onto the side of Easy yet, so Easy is still pumping down damage. Big news, and Dark Wenser have got away. The reset's going to be coming through. There's EX Feld. Singular Bread is low, not able to participate in this fight, and Stubby is going to be able to keep things going. Jinx is going. Easy is flashing out, but Big News finally shuts him down for 850 gold. A triple kill, as we do in my calls. It's a for that one on Big News, and able to take that fight. That is the team fight that the Crab Wranglers were looking for. They've now got the kill advantage. They're popping a Rift Herald. Why not? And they're taking this Infernal Dragon.
Now, if there's anything that I know so far about Crab Wranglers, it's that whenever Adam is doing nothing, apparently it's better than when he's doing something. I've been told that by some of the members of his team, in which case, if you were to ask me, I will not tell you. I'm keeping their names hidden for their own purposes, witness protection program. And one thing that was definitely noticed there is how that Adam getting caught and then reacting very quickly by not engaging at all is actually probably the bigger thing that won them that fight. He managed to knock back the Yone into the back end of their fight and kind of delay a lot of the damage that would have been popped off even further from there. Yone and in Cam was not able to actually get off the secondary knockup because of it. And then from there, we kind of saw a sweep where a lot of a backpedaling and just kiting was done from Big News. In fact, the other side of that too is that Big News popped off in that fight, dancing around, but everyone also living on just slivers of health. Could have gone a completely different way had it been approached differently. Oh boy.
Yeah, there was a great ultimate early on from Dark Wenser as well that I think allowed Big News to be able to make those plays. All Big News needed was good rockets, obviously Gale Force, Infinity Edge, you know, you're going to be hitting those crits, and that keeps you going. Did even go forward into the cage of Easy, but was still able to get free of that and play the rest of the fight. So that is the swing I think they were looking for. They're now pushing nearly 2,000 gold in advantage. Singular Bread didn't even get to play that fight as the Poppy would want, right? Wasn't able to keep the Keeper's Verdict. Sorry, the Keeper's Verdict was helpful, but, you know, I really do think that it's that W that was what they were looking for. So even a sloppy fight, you know, a lot of that time spent was going towards Singular Bread and Atom, and that was not where you needed to be focusing. You needed to catch Dark Wenser, you needed to catch Big News, and you just weren't allowed to do that. So we're back to laning. We've picked up a lot off that fight. Obviously, the Dragon is one thing, but, you know, you got the turret in the mid lane. You got big damage down on the mid lane turret, number 2. Adam is caught, but is not giving up on this one. They're now spending Cage, they're spending Seraphine ult as well. This seems like a lot for a support.
For a cow.
Yeah, that's way too much. Adam is still getting out of this fight. Oh, getting through to the other side of Cam. There is going to be Singular Bread with the W. Guess what, Cam? It's Dark Wenser once again with the ult from the Vel'Koz.
He's not a priority target. Why are you going after him? This is one of the worst champions that you could decide to just all in onto. And yeah, you expended everything onto the man that can kind of tank just about everything from you. So
well, not only that, I mean, you gave him an option in the side of Cam to bounce out to with the headbutt. You know, the headbutt pole gets you away from the rest of the team. So the Zon Lilac, Batman, Easy, all looking to get things down. You get away with that way, and then then at some point, you know, when you're coming forward like that, you are going to get caught by the Lifeform Disintegration Ray, which has been used fantastically a couple times now by Dark Wenser. So it looks to me like we are pivoting around the map, and yeah, we're clearing that topside river. Sounds like a Baron for me.
Yeah, and looking across there too, there's not too much in terms of the vision that we can see. We're going to take a look around this area of the map here. Definitely seems like no matter where you're going to be going, it's going to be going into the dark. And I mean, as we've seen how Dark's handled that situation before, that can be pretty rough. They're walking up, they're putting down some control wards, but I would not be thinking that that is an area where you're going to be grabbing the vision. We have Adam coming through on the backside here. What's going to happen here? That's the question.
Yeah, Atom's in a great place. Could go for easy. They are, of course, calling that teleport, though. So Adam now realizing the numbers may not be there. This is going to be the Keeper's verdict from Poppy. The Poppycopter spun, but was not able to figure out a way to make that work. So there are ults being expended and not getting the value across the course of this game. Dark Wenser, though, clearing out the wave. As far as wave clear goes, Vel'Koz is absolutely ridiculous. So being able to keep those waves going. Cam's trying to do this solo brush hide thing. Realizes that might be a bad idea and bounces away. And that's a real quick pivot to the Baron from Eclipsing Tides, who are going to take that quite quickly. This is going to need to be a quick response, but if you're all grouped up in the pit, could you just get disintegrated?
Resistances are just getting shredded right now on the backside there. I'm waiting for the one ultimate.
Cam's gone. Cam has already had to bounce back.
Oh no! Oh wait, that's not exactly the synergy that I want to see, but they still got it.
Oh, they took it. The light from Disintegration Ray taking, I mean, it's damage on the Baron, right? So it's damage on the Baron,
yeah.
But the Keeper's verdict bouncing away two of the already fleeing Eclipsing Tides. That's a thank you very much for leashing. We'll take that and we'll start walking away with it. So really good play there from the side of the Crab Wranglers.
Oh no, that's going to be a lot of damage.
This is going to be a Big News caught out and Big News taken down. So a return shutdown for the side of Easy. The teleport from EX is coming. They need to get out and use this Baron wisely. You know there's no Lifeform Disintegration Ray, but here comes Stubby.
Oh boy, Stubby even on the backside though, like this is a lot to try to take over into here. Might be able to grab somebody over on the back end of it, and he does.
Yep.
What is going to end up in this fight though?
I believe it's going to be Easy in this one.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, getting rid of Easy here is going to be huge, because that's also going to be AP.
He didn't
Stubby
do it.
needs the shield, he's out of it, and now this is a really bad time for the Crab Wranglers. They're going to have to start leaving, because now
there's another
dragon
ult
is
up for Dark
yeah,
if you really wanted to go for it. I don't think that's a smart move there.
The mistake there was, you know, the Crab Wranglers took the Baron. They saw, of course, that Eclipsing Tides walked away, and they're like, oh, we'll go take the Dragon too. You have a Dragon lead. You can give that one up. It's absolutely fine. There's the whiff on the Super Mega Death Rocket from Big News. But, you know, Big News has to be careful. What's really concerning me here is I'm not seeing anything from Big News to really help out against the side of this this cage from Veigar. Easy has been catching him a couple times too many, and as soon as the Jinx goes, your team fight is done. Just leave. Just leave. You don't need to be there.
I definitely agree too. There's a lot of individual mistakes that are being kind of tossed up in there, but yeah, Big News not being available for the fight. As much as this was not a protect the AD carry or kind of focus on to the hyper carry, at least traditionally in the style that they're pulling it off for the comp, it's definitely still there that Big News is kind of at the forefront of the damage numbers. I would have liked to have seen him in that last fight to see how it would have gone out, but yeah, getting caught out did not end up well for them over the long term there. We're gonna have to see and just wait for Adam to be moved up forward again, and hopefully when they catch him out, then they'll able to just, you know, roll back in there and kind of sweep through. But if that doesn't happen, then we have seen that Eclipsing Tides, if they do catch somebody out with that cage, are able to just nuke them down instantly with Easy's maneuvering of that, was it the void something? No, the something drop. The base drop. I don't know. Something's happening here with X.
Which one are you looking for on the Veigar? Event Horizon's the cage.
Yes, that one. Event Horizon.
Baleful Strike and Dark Matter. This is another fight. Wow. They're doing it in the cage, and yet, honestly, I think Easy might be just a little bit too strong here. They can't be taking these odd-numbered fights. It's all about Big News. Big News is now in the ultimate from the side of the Camille, and is now getting jumped on by Batman as well. So the two carries are absolutely gone. Single Bread is gone. Adam flashes away, but nobody has stopped Easy. That's a double kill on the side of Batman, so that Jarvan is working out. And this is going to be a tough tough one for the side of Stubby. Is going to need to get some help here. Is going to have to go and deal with this. But even the Jack Show, not enough to save him. Dark Wenser trying to find Cam in the top lane, but that is a terrible trade. A 4-4-1. Your team was so split up, and Eclipsing Tides can just march us down mid with a 500 gold lead, but a massive amount of map control.
Yeah, there's a lot of map control brought up, but I also do see a lot more in terms of like the vision that's definitely littered around the map here by both teams, but in very awkward positions here. I haven't really seen enough in terms of TP plays that could be executed on this. And another thing that I would definitely like to mention too is that I have not seen the denial of the dive happen as often as I would love to, or even as kind of as you had mentioned it, Dark just being with the team. That is a team fight mage. Like, as much as it's poke artillery, you want it to be with the team kind of thing. So I'm curious on how that's going to be panning out, if they're going to take the same approach. They definitely need to adapt here if they want to get back into this, because the last two fights have not gone in their favor, but not exactly for lack of them trying to really put it outside of their favor at that point too.
I think the big thing here is like the team comp definitely favors Crab Wranglers, but they're playing it wrong, right? Like they're playing it incorrectly, and you can't just be leaving Dark Wenser in a side lane. That's not the side lane champion. Does have the teleport, but is not a side lane. Like, you know, when the team fight starts, Dark Wenser should be breaking it up, and you should be calling in Stubby to clean up. You know, use that Jack Show, use the Rylai's Crystal Scepter to cause those problems. So definitely feels like a lot of missteps from the Crab Wranglers. Cam is going to sit in the side lane. It's a Yone. That's what it does. Singular Bread gets away from the event horizon, and Easy is in a ridiculous position. Does, of course, have the Rabadon's Death Cap completed, along with a plethora of other items. That's a 4-item full build almost on the Vigar. Is anyone getting caught is going to get knocked out by that.
Yeah, and just absolutely shredded too. It's one of those situations that we're going to be looking at that kind of almost favors whoever is going to be starting the Baron second right now. Is actually going to be having the advantage, mostly because of Dark. Dark has kind of been the variable that is going to attribute to that, but they are getting the jungle track here, and Singular Bread, oh boy.
Yeah, you can't be face checking like that. That's one for Easy. That's one for the Camille of EX as well. Big News is being jumped on. That's number 2 for EX one more time. Stubby's in the middle, but is he going to be able to do enough? Let's see where the damage comes down. This is an absolute clean sweep. Cam picks up one, so there's not going to be any big kills, and it's a triple kill. It's the traditional for EX on the Camille. So it is just going to be Eclipsing Tides running it down mid. They played this one to perfection. They had a tough game to execute, but they managed these picks every single time. A face check to end the game from Singular Bread. Just not working out. They're going to be taking down those turrets, taking down the Nexus, and of course teleporting onto those minions as well. So even though the team comps looked a little bit lopsided, Eclipsing Tides showed that they were here to play.
And play they did. There was a lot that was done in that game that was done correct, but there was also a lot that was done incorrect on both of the ends there too that we ended up seeing from them. There was some questionable things that was happening there for sure. I would have liked to see that comp played more proper from Crab Wranglers, but Eclipsing Tides definitely showed that regardless of if Easy is going to be on an 80 carry or on a short wizard Yordle thing, that it doesn't really matter. Well, it really will make the difference of just being able to put them on something that does a lot of damage, and that is maybe a bit of a question for anyone who's looking at Eclipsing Tides and seeing them as put everything in the easy basket and expect that to just go that way. It does really seem that you can just kind of throw anything into the easy basket.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, if we go all the way back to pick ban, I mean, how many pick bans did they expend on the side of 80 carries that were obviously kind of worthless in that point? So they do have to start thinking about it. A quick rundown of the stats before we take a little break here. Top lane, you know, the gold ends up going over to EX. Of course, the numbers look a lot better with that triple kill at the end, but still carving out a 1,000 gold advantage and a small CS deficit. The gold coming well in the favor of Batman, which is, you know, something that you got to give credit for. Singular Bread has been running the numbers in this league all year, but winning in CS and gold. Mid lane did go the way of Dark Wenser, but wasn't able to use those advantages to the maximum. easy, a comfortable lead, even in the CS. But obviously, those extra kills are going to add to the numbers. And a big difference as well, you know, Zom Lilac was always around, always able to get involved, and did get a lot more done in that game with a gold lead as well. So feels to me like there's you know, some execution to be discussed between games from the Crab Wranglers, and we'll see how the rest of this set plays out. But unless you have any other concerns, Lucan, the damage is pretty much what we expected, right? You know,
I thought Dark would have done more, but I guess he didn't really join with the team as often as he should.
Yep. But the big thing here is Easy with the most damage in the game, 36.3k, being able to pump out the numbers on that Vigar, stack up that ability, and just start one-shotting people with a single combo at the end. It's back to the drawing boards, Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. They had a great draft, but they weren't able to execute it as they wanted. So that one was fighty, and I think it's time for a quick break, and we'll get back with game number 2 very shortly.
True, I gotta pee.
I gotta step outside.
We'll talk to you soon on the next game in CW versus ET. And we are waiting on the draft to happen here after we have done our diligence of bathroom breaks and looking at food, but longing for it, as we do not have the time to eat it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I could put it in now, but it'd probably burn.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those fancy Bluetooth ovens. Have you seen those?
There's a
Where you can like
Bluetooth
control the
oven?
oven.
What does it like cook
Yeah,
with
you
the
can
Bluetooth?
control your oven from your phone. It's crazy.
Oh, like
yeah.
you connect to it, so it's not like Bluetooth waves are hitting at it, kind of like a microwave oven does with like microwaves, radiation.
No, it's
So it's not like
it's just like a Bluetooth control for it. But alas, draft will be coming soon, so hopefully that'll give us something to feast upon.
Oh man, well I mean like they were eating good in the last game here, but we're gonna see if they're eating great again. Because Eclipsing Tides tossing it out here. We've got 21 seconds left to go, and I want to know what they're going to be taking out. Their approach to the draft worked fine for them last time, although I would say that the reason for that win was primarily down to an improper positioning and execution of the last comp. I think that it did work relatively well at certain points, but once again, if you're going to play a comp like that, you better play it right. What could we see from TACW that would work better into what was presented in the last portion here? And are we even going to see the Viger over on Eclipsing Tides' team here? Or are we going to... Nope, it's taken away.
Yeah, the easy ban there on the Vigar, right? It's like they got caught so short by thinking that was mid. They drafted the Vel'Koz. I think the Vel'Koz did fine, but caused problems that way. So just get rid of it. Don't deal with that flex at all. You know, take it away from a couple members of Eclipsing Tides and play it that way. Aurelion Sol moving up in position in the draft to number 2 for Eclipsing Tides. Makes a lot of sense to get rid of that. It is an absolute powerhouse. And you know, goes nicely with a repeat of the Swain ban as well. I think the point is true. I think Crab Wranglers didn't execute the comp that they drafted the way that they should have, and that's tough. Something to consider, but you know, maybe drafting a little bit differently will give them something a little more comfortable as well.
And we definitely know that they can play some very weird things over on the Crab Wranglers sides. So we'll need to see if they do pull out something that is a bit of a doozy coming forth. They don't want to deal still with that Sivir. A lot of wave clear and a lot of ability to do front to back. Also safe kind of positioning that can be done from easy on that pick. Still understanding that we have basically 2 easy bans taken away here in the Vigar and in the Sivir, and we'll see if it works out for this time. Wukong taken back away again. They really don't want to see that one onto Singular Bread, and the Lulu once again taken away to make sure that the backline can't be kept safe under that area. Now, what we're going to see here from the first portion here, it was a doozy in the way that it was tossed over from Eclipsing Tides. May not have been the greatest in terms of the laning phase and how that was approached there, but definitely shot out to show that Easy was definitely able to do something with it. Nami pulled out here first, and I would like to see what could happen going further from that. Lucian is still on the table. I don't know if you want to be taking it away over from Big News here, or with Big News here, or if you want to take something else at this point.
I hate that trade. I hate when people take the Lucian and just to take it away. It feels awful.
It
is.
We've
seen
it's
it
pretty
a few
bad.
times. but Xayah here, a nice takeaway. You know, get your AD carry. You can obviously get away from the culling for a moment with the Featherstorm, being able to dash out of that one and potentially get away as well from the Nami wave. So probably pretty good. I imagine you just take a support here if you're the Crab Wranglers, pick one of those up and just lock in your bot lane, see what you get. I think we're probably going to get bot lane jungles again in the first half of the draft and play things that way.
Yeah, and I do wonder if this Nami pick is also a bit of a bait here, being able to choose something else.
Okay.
Well, there we go. Xayah Rakan.
Yep.
Solid, very solid bot lane pickup to grab with those 2 champions there. Can very much influence a fight in a number of ways, and especially when we're talking about backline dive as well too. Big News doesn't necessarily have to worry about it quite as much this game. There can be the long range engage from the Nami. It's also a possibility we might see some form of a matchup brought over for creating more long range engage potential, in which case, there we go, there's the Rise. We might also see something else that can definitely reach within that distance, but I am curious to see what that'll end up being as we look forward to this.
Yeah, the Rise coming through early is definitely a bold play. I usually like to see Rise a little bit later in the draft.
Yes.
But getting that lockdown just feels like they're really committing to an idea already that they've put together. They know they've got 2 picks. So leaving that up makes a lot of sense. This is going to be the Lucian Nami finally locked in. So it's awkward, right? Like usually if you're the Crab Wranglers, I think, you know, the common logic is to pick something like your jungler a little bit earlier, but you're already seeing the mid laner, so you may be able to, you know, grab a bunch of fun stuff and play that way. So let's see what we get out of the Crab Wranglers. Of course, this could be another pivot in the Rise. I've seen Rise all over the map.
We definitely ask here what we expect to see on that angle, because there's quite a bit. Galio picked up is an interesting one at this point.
It
and
makes
then
a lot of
banning
sense.
Camille. Wait, I am.
Yeah, I actually like the Galio pick here, just because it matches a little bit of what that Rise is trying to do, right? Like the Rise is going to roam down the river a little bit, go in with the ultimate, and then you can kind of just match it with the Galio. So I
was just
that.
confused about why you would take away Camille immediately after when you have the next pick in the rotation.
I think maybe looking to, you know, keep things banned
True,
were problematic, right? It was Eclipsing Tides, so we were able to get a lot of value out of that Camille and the Hextech Ultimate.
Jarvan's
so
up. That is,
if Stubby's not feeling it, you know, wants to play something a little different, probably wants to keep that one going. But it is the Mordekaiser following through from Eclipsing Tides, even though they didn't win. Stubby didn't, you know, did cause a lot of problems in that lane. The Kale, once again,
could we see Nocturne?
Ban. There's definitely a Nocturne angle here from Eclipsing Tides.
I had to say it, and then it wasn't happening. I would like to have seen
I mean,
though.
honestly, Eclipsing Tides could play the Nocturne too. That is something that
very
Batman
true, yeah.
has played a lot of. But the Jarvan taken away for Singular Bread, something that I know he's played a lot of and put a lot of time into. So wouldn't be shocked to see the Nocturne come through in response. You know, does get to continue this trend of getting around the map quickly, right? And looking at the comp so far, it's going to be there. Zac something I like too. Zac, you know, can jump in from afar, so it's all about movement, and I really do think after their success in game 1, it's all going to be about, you know, putting it together around this Lucian Nami combo.
What do we want to see from top lane at this point here too? Because we got a back-to-back. Yeah, we got the counter matchup happening over on TACW, but I mean, like, I'm looking at like Ornn over on the side of ET. Yeah, I was gonna say that makes a lot of sense from them. And then the matchup going up from there, I wouldn't be Mordekaiser's taken away, so I'm not gonna even bring that one up in the first place. Although I already did. But I do wonder
I like a Cassante, honestly.
Yeah,
I
that could be solid.
Cassante is really strong. But there are, of course, tank busters available too, right?
I feel like there's a bit of a problem that you are severely lacking in AP damage. Yep, there it is. I was going to say that you're lacking in AP damage. You kind of want to like be able to bring it all together. Kennen's a solid pickup, actually. There's not too many people that actually play the champion to begin with, and I definitely think it enables a lot more of these tighter team fights. That'll definitely be setting this, have the stage set by both teams, actually. Looking at this one here, it looks like Crab Wranglers aren't looking to counter what is happening from Eclipsing Tides. They're saying, well, you guys are able to have a go button, press in, and kind of start these fights yourselves and make it go based off of your own terms. We also can do the same, and I'm curious to see how this one will pan out. I'm really kind of conflicted with how I see who wins what, where kind of thing.
It's two
it's
team
rough,
fight comps.
Right?
It's 2 straight up team fight comps, and that's the big thing. The one thing I will say though is Eclipsing Tides do have more of this like pick angle early. I really do think Zac is a very strong player. Yeah, but then Jarvan, you know, the commitment from the Jarvan is good, but you're waiting for like 6s, and like Zac can go top, Ornn can obviously lay down a lot of CC, Rise can lay down a lot of CC, and like Jarvan's kind of, you know, waiting a little bit more. So it is heavily on Singular Bread to get to the lanes earlier, which is a potential. You can do the 3 camp clear, then gank. But, you know, if you do that the traditional way, you're going to be ganking into an Ornn, which is a tough gank to pull off early. And on the flip side, it's like, okay, Zac maybe takes an extra camp, but if we're ganking into a Kennen, Kennen could logically be pushing in, and that should be an easy gank there. So I think the first couple ganks definitely set the tone for this matchup, and then from there, you know, it really is just about teamfight execution. This one's a clean 50-50 if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, there's definitely the question on who's going to have the more influential ability across the map here, because I do believe Kennen probably, pardon mon français, pardon my French, if you don't know French. I don't know, do you know French?
Yeah, je parle un petit peu français.
Oh, we're not going to go into that one. We are not the LFL. But I will say that I think that Kennen shits on Ornn. Like straight up, like in the
Yes.
early portions of the game, like it's definitely something to look at. And if we're looking, the areas of the map that are kind of looking at strong side are actually on the opposite ends for each team. Crab Wranglers definitely has a lot more influence towards that top side, with the Jarvan looking to likely get an accelerated lead from the Kennen so that the split push can happen, or whatever you want from the TP availability and just the burst potential that can happen from that. While in the other end here, we've got Easy on Lucian, and we've got Zond on Nami, and that has shown to be a very scary combo throughout any of the games. If you look over throughout the history of how they've been playing throughout this league, they dominate on that combo pretty often. I do think that there's a safer pick with that Xayah and Rakan down there, and then mid lane, of course, is just kind of the scaling kind of ticking time bomb that really is to worry about here. I don't know exactly how it's going to really pan out, but I do know that Ryze in the late game always is terrifying. But
yep.
yeah, there's so much even potential here for how this definitely can go and how we want to see it go. But I think it's kind of hard to determine really, especially based off of last game, how this is actually going to end up.
Yeah, I think it's all about execution. So I think the best thing to do is let these guys get into the game. Let the early game start playing. We'll wait for obviously that delay, and then once we get back, we'll see if the Crab Wranglers can fight back to 1-1, or Eclipsing Tides are going to put themselves on match point.
We'll see.
welcome to game number 2 between Eclipsing Tides and the Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. We are going to be stepping out onto the Rift to see if it's going to be a 2-0 lead for Eclipsing Tides or Crab Wranglers are going to tie it up. Game 1 did not go their way. They drafted a very good comp into what they were looking at playing, and the execution just missed a little bit. So we're already getting a change up in what they are starting with. In the last game, we saw that standard issue 5-point spread across the map from both teams, and now we're seeing the 5-man from Eclipsing Tides. So maybe try and take some of that momentum and spring a little surprise. It looks like they're backing out of that idea already. They've probably been found out a little bit there, as it's going to be a back for the side of EX, is on Lilac, and of course Easy chilling in that brush, just sharing out some wards. It's going to be early gold already coming through. A little pop there on Zond Lilac, so being able to play this game.
It was seen there.
Yeah, Atom is going to get poked, but it's not really going to be enough. And there, of course, is the Be Happy from the side of Eclipsing Tides. Definitely buoyed by that Game 1 win.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said in the approach to how the early game is played out by both of these teams as well too. Generally, pretty often, and I mean, I think this is actually in a response, the way that Eclipsing Tides actually took that. You do tend to see Crab Wranglers actually go for the cheese. I mean, even this in itself is very much one.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a cheesy duo, I would say Zyra Khan somewhat fall into that. A very early trade going their favor, and all of that damage going down on the Lucian of Easy. So it does have the pots. We'll be able to pop those and collect on those. But, that's already a good amount of damage going down. Taking 2 pots, actually, with the long sword. It does have the biscuits coming through as well. So I don't think this trade is going to be that punishing, but they are swinging for the fences in that lane.
Yeah, and the early burst definitely not going to be showing, but the sustain over the course of the lane, if there is more poke being thrown out there without having that Doran's Blade is something that can show, but that's a lot of damage really early on done to Cam.
Yeah, Dark Wenser winning that trade comfortably with the Galio. The taunts coming through, of course, being able to throw things out with the Q as well. Keep those waves pushing. This feels like a very aggressive game, a real fight-back game from the side of the Crab Wranglers. As Dark Wenser's just pushing them in. Yeah, the jungle has actually started on the same side of the map. In this side, it was the top. And it's going to be an early invade from Singular Bread. So he's on the Jarvan, he's at that red buff, and Zac on the side of Batman has decided to delay and take the smaller camp there. So this could be a very interesting fight if they meet at the red buff. It appears Singular Bread just looking at the
take a look to see what's happening over here, though.
Here's the collapse. Singular Bread has stolen the red, is going over the wall. The Zac will knock him up, but I'm waiting for it, He's going to try to walk it out. He is going to walk it out as well. Atom and Big News roaming up the jungle as well. Easian's on Lilac, have roamed up. Cam is roaming over. The Flag and Drag goes through. Adam gets involved, but this is a rough trade. Big News is caught on the side. Dark Wenser is low. Does get to pull back those feathers and stop them, but it's now 3 of them chasing Big News, forcing the flash over into the Tri-Brush.
Can we do a count real quick of how many summoners were burned there? Because that was kind of wild.
We've got the flash of Dark Wenser, the flash of Big News, and then the flash, and I believe it's
Easy.
No, it's not the heal, it's going to be the exhaust on Atom. Over onto the side of Zon Lilac, that's a heal and a flash. That's going to be a flash from Easy, a flash from Cam as well. But Batman holding onto the flash, so all bets are off. This is the taunt coming in on Cam. Cam is getting knocked down on first blood for Dark Wenser. The full Galio combo paying off there. Now it's going to be a quick fight back from the side of ET, but Batman bails out of that one.
And this entire time, too, if you're looking at the CS numbers that have been happening here, the harass just constantly coming down. Stubby just been kind of drilling it down over into that Ornn in X there, constantly just making sure that the pressure is on. It's curious to see how this one's kind of ended up here. I was not very much expecting the solo kill out of Dark into Cam here, but more pressure happening bot side. And Jarvan coming up, too.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fighting. This is going to be an early game kind of push from the Crab Wranglers to be able to try and get back into the series, not just this game. Cam has already taken a good amount of poke, is down in levels. CS numbers looking a little bit low across the board because all they've been doing is fighting as well. So Dark Wenser stepping up, trying to poke once again with that Q. Going for another taunt, letting the minions do some of the work, but those are going to be quickly cleared by Cam. This trade looking worse and worse the longer Dark Wenser takes it.
Yeah, you only get those short windows there until it's not exactly going to be as effective. The gold itself, too, is definitely going to look to be something to be watched as this game goes along. We do have a decent kind of lead in the mid lane, but everywhere else is going to be maintaining a relative balance. And honestly, I don't think that works out well with how bot lane is supposed to go for this combo in Easy and Zond here.
No, I think the late game is definitely stronger for Easy and Zon Lilac, but they are going to be given opportunities to show they can play as well as they did in game number 1. The top lane is a lot of trades. It is, of course, a CS lead of about 17, now looking to 18 on the side of Stubby, but that's exactly what you want to do with the cannon, right? You want to be able to fight these out early, push your lane opponent in, and just keep on poking. Singular Bread and Batman will meet in the top side of the map. Singular Bread is going to be easily seen. That pink ward already on where the Scuttle Crab has just been taken, so probably both of them backing out on this one. The swings in the bot lane, right? It's going to be just kind of push, back and forth, making sure you maximize your CS is big here. EX taking more poke from Stubby, but I don't see an angle where Stubby can actually go get an easy kill on this one.
No, it's going to be kind of rough, but the harass that keeps coming under is a 20 CS lead right now is what's kind of translated into, and we might end up seeing a lot more as that goes on here, but that'll kind of be the question, right, at this point. We do have the dragon kind of being eyed up over here. No vision brought out over on the other side, and there's a lot of pressure being thrown over from mid lane as well too, to where we might see something happen as Singular Bread kind of approaching it, and they're not caring too much that this is happening at the moment.
Well, the big thing here for me is Eclipsing Tides are getting hit really hard by this dragon. This is going to start racking up the damage. Singular Bread pushing through into the river. Atom and big news there.
Boy.
There's the flag and drag, and Zond Lilac is already gone. We're going to get the hero's entrance from Dark Quensa just to make sure. That's a big old burn for not a lot of value, but it does give them priority over the dragon on a simple numbers advantage.
I think the other thing to do here is that I've been I don't know how much you care to hear some meta opinions about stuff that has happened ever since the durability changes that happened a while back, just last year. But the value of the Mountain Drake, just in general, has been massively increased because of it. The flat resistances that were kind of given over, and the percentage decrease of damage that just you're sitting on already, and how much it is increased by those number increases is already wild. And I think if we're looking at the way that you might be able to survive leading into some of these fights here now, having that extra little bit of resistance definitely adds up to a lot. That's a huge wave that they're trying to fight them in here too, by the way.
Yeah, a massive wave, and Batman has walked into this for free, so they're going for easy. That is going to be Adam getting out. They are only level 5, so no Quickless, no Featherstorm. There's the heal popped on the side of Big News. Big News avoids the bubble, but Easy still gets him on that side. A Blade Caller not dropped yet, so they are getting to walk away from this one, and that is more of what I expect to see from a Lucian-Nami duo. It is going to be the side of Batman sticking around there on the Zac. The Singular Bread is just farming away in the jungle, so an easy kill picked up and starting to balance things out in that bot lane a little bit. EX is still taking a lot of damage in the top side, and Dark Wenster still in a great position in this mid lane. 1-0-1. Cam, not able to really threaten the kill right now with that extra magic shield as well that, of course, Galio gets. But it's all about the poke. There's the culling just to clear the wave and potentially push on Big News. Big News is 6 now, so would be given the opportunity to, of course, drop down the Featherstorm.
No
and Blade
ultimate
Caller.
up too, does
not able to get it.
Yeah, definitely does mean that there's a little bit more pressure that can be given in that wave, although I think a lot of damage was definitely taken from that trade there too, but definitely just wanting to clear up, get out, do the reset, pick up an item, and I'm wondering what the item is going to be here. Oh wow, that's a decent chunk change difference there in comparison here for the item difference. So we'll need to see how that'll be translated into the laning portion of this, but we do have some fights that look like they might be brewing up here from mid going into the rest of the map. We just gotta wait to see when exactly that is gonna happen. Bread getting pushed off right now though, and Adam is looking at roaming up.
Yeah, Atom's roaming up, but doing it very slowly, clearing out the wards as he goes. The focus on the map is, of course, that Rift Herald right now. We're at the 9 and a bit minute mark. So it's now the only objective because the dragon's already been taken. EX still has a push, still has a way to get into that, and maybe looking to get caught out by Singular Bread. Dark Wenster's here too. Dark Wenster does not have access to the hero's entrance though, so this would be just kind of the vanilla CC. Singular Bread is wasting a lot of time.
Realizing that too? Oh, he doesn't care.
Well, that is going to be the stun down onto EX. It's going to be a flag and drag. There's the Cataclysm. Does have to flash and may get away. That's Singular Bread using the smite to get through it.
Zach's
this
going
is a
in.
big engage from Batman, waiting on the Realm Warp from the rise of Cam. And that's going to bring Lilac with him too as well. Singular Bread is going to go down here. It's felled by Cam in this one. Not able to catch him with the Zach. And Stubby and Dark Wenser have to back off in this one. Adam has roamed, but it's too late. Of course, Zond Lilac coming along with Cam in the Realm Warp meant that he got there first. So the support trade going really well. Batman is going to catch Atom, being able to slap him together with those two really awkward issues. And there's no jungler on the side of the Crab Wranglers right now. So
I don't know if I like them trying
contested.
to take this when there's still everyone in the area right now. Even though we do see Ornn popping up over on the side here, the ult could come down, and I got a feeling it is going to.
Yeah, EX is coming through and still has access to the Ornn Horn. Does get knocked out of it and is missing it though. So this fight is about to get scrappy. Batman and Cam on the front line. They're getting flagged and dragged through by Singular Bread. Singular Bread is still going. The hero's entrance will keep the side of Batman there. You've got to pop that passive as well. Make sure you get the kill, but this jungler is now dropped, and that is going to be a quick turn to the Rift Herald if they want. Stubby takes the kill onto Batman, taking out the last blob from the Zac passive, and that is going to be a good advantage. The side of Zon Violet and Cam are trying to leave, but it doesn't matter because Singular Bread, Atom, and Stubby are already taking this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and the whole time, I mean, like, look what's happening in the bot side. It's just a kind of a farm fest going back and forth. Just kind of a gentleman's agreement saying, yes, you can take your farm, we can take our farm. Eventually, we'll be a part of the team. Because, wow, a lot of that action happened while there's a whole lot of nothing happening bot. But the swing in itself is about 1k, 1.5k over into the direction of Crab Wranglers, and we did see them in the last game hold a decent lead, but the question is, are they going to be able to transition it into something that actually has something more meaning? Because as much as they did win this fight, and they're showing that when they're on the tools that are set from them, they definitely are looking to be the stronger portion at this point. It's how well they're going to be able to turn that into something bigger.
Yeah, did you know as well, something I've just discovered, that as part of the Cell Division passive of Zac, the technical term is bloblets that they use? Yeah, it's a bloblet, which I believe is smaller than the blob, but it looks pretty blobby to me as well. But alas, it's just something to note there. EX is pushing up.
I mean, you're talking like the little things that are like on the ground that you step on, or?
Yeah, I mean, no, those are bloblets. Well, no.
Or is that just a blob?
When he hits people with an ability, those are chunks. This is though. Let's get back to the game. Cam just getting caught out, walking in. You can't be face checking like this. Yeah, Singular Bread catches him there.
Oh boy!
That's the quickness blocked beautifully.
Oh wow, that's huge.
But he does go in, keep it going. A massive flag and drag from the side of Singular Bread. Big news is now just wailing on this team. Batman doesn't even have the Cell Division back up to do this. So a second Drake. This time it's going to be the Chemtech heading over to the side of the Crab Wranglers. They are running away with this game now. 7 kills to 2 and looking at over a 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. The Rift Herald has been summoned in the river. They're so confident in it, it's going to be able to walk its way down. EX is the only one still able to do anything on this map, and Stubby's just wailing on it.
Here. Yeah, I was going to say, oh boy, yeah, that's
he's unstoppable for a bit, but that's not enough to slow it down. Stubby is going to keep on going. I don't know if the kill potential is there, but it's going to be a huge advantage. Probably forcing EX out the lane for a little bit and being able to push in and take this plate that's looking a little bit juicy. The plate's, of course, going down in the mid lane. Did not make a difference. Easy's on his own. Does dash away beautifully from the engage of the Rakan, but it's still going to be a sticky situation until the side of Lazond, Lilac, and Batman potentially come along. There is a little bit of a hover in the river from the side of Singular Bread, and Stubby, yeah, is cleaning up in the top lane. This is definitely becoming a CS stiff, and we will be looking towards a potential Flame Horizon, as at 14 minutes, we're at about 40 CS difference.
Yeah, we'll need to see how this will pan out going forward, but we haven't even seen the mythic spikes happen in this game yet. We've already had 9 kills. We kind of got a glimpse on as to what's going to be happening there with Xayah, and it was a decent chunk of damage, don't get me wrong, but we've now got the cannon in the top lane with the mythic popping up here, and the Galio, who has built Roa and is going to start to scale while already 3 kills ahead. There's something to be said about that potential to match now at some of the power spikes that we're going to be seeing, because Rise hasn't even picked up the Roa yet.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes.
The scaling is way different on this side of Team Ambition Crab Wranglers, right? Like, we've already got you know, the Roa there. We've got the engage option from the
we have every
Cannon
mythic
well.
is up right now.
Yeah,
if they want to fight, they want to do it soon here.
All right, Rakan doesn't have a mythic. That's the weak point. So that's something that Eclipsing Tides could fight back with, but they're missing mythics on 4 of their teams, so a team fight right now is probably ill-advised, and this could be Crab Wranglers just picking up a bunch of objectives. Atom and Big News do have access to both of their ultimates as well, so if the side of Eclipsing Tides get a little bit frisky trying to shut this one down, it could be punished really hard. They are now getting their wave shoved under the tower once again, but the fantastic job done by Easy has been to keep this CS just even though, you know, Zon's been roaming and, you know, Adam's been roaming too. So it's been pretty fair and square in the bot lane. The big concern for me is now the difference in the jungle and mid. Those are getting funny. So Lilac has to flash away from the quickness.
Wow.
The tidal wave comes through, they're able to walk away, so we're now just throwing ults away for fun as supports. I know they come up quickly, but that's
do we see what's happening? Do we see what's happening over here, though, too? We've got Singular Bread waiting behind the lines, looking to maybe do something disturbing here on that front. Oh boy, that was disturbing.
Has the hero's entrance, so now Singular Bread's out.
True.
He can get the hero's entrance. This is Stubby coming through as well. This is going to be massive. Batman's caught in the Cataclysm. Is going to get knocked out. Cam is going to cause problems, but Singular Bread falls for his difficulty. So the Ornhorn comes through. It's going to connect on Stubby, and Cam is now the one trying to fight this one out. Dark Wenster getting between them though. Maybe able to slow that one down. A flash away from the pillar of the Orn, and Cam and AX level that up as a 1-for-1. So a bit of a silly, over-aggressive play from the Crab Wranglers.
I feel like it wasn't like too over-aggressive. It was once again down to an execution portion, because you didn't need to go in. Let's be honest. After you denied the back, you could just back up there instead of diving into the tower, hitting nothing. But it is true that it is definitely maybe moving a little bit too far forward after you lost the commitment availability to it. I'd be curious to see what the next move is from here too. I also do think that if Singular Bread would have taken down the wall, maybe Stubby could have done more damage. But you know, we're looking and seeing some of the cracks in terms of how the Crab Wranglers could be executing on some of these, and it's very minute in comparison to how they are looking at these openings that are there to begin with. It's just the misexecution when they do finally find them, and I think if they were to shore up on some of those things, we could definitely see some more clean gameplay happening. But for right now, it is relatively clean enough to where they are going to be taking that next Herald here, and where are they going to be putting it? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here, right, is it's really been...
Oh boy, wow, big news though.
Is getting engaged on. Does further storm away from the tidal wave though, so we are going to start seeing some fights. Cam has been taken out by the 3-man in the mid lane, but Nami of Zon Lilac picking up the kill onto Big News in the bot lane. So this is a tough one. Easy and Zon Lilac are going for it in the bot lane. We're now just going to start trading towers like crazy in this one. Kennen from Stubby coming down to the mid lane. Red team, of course, that's going to be Team Ambition Crab Wranglers, dropping that Rift Herald. This seems like a lot of damage to give up on the Herald to take those last couple of points. Blue team, though,
they're not going to go for the second one. They're going for the rotation.
It is going to try and get the charge. They are still focused on the dragon. Stubby coming through.
Oh, wow,
is
Stubby
out here. Yeah, Zon Lilac is done. That's a really great bubble, but Easy is caught once again. We're just grouping up like crazy people around
not
this
Easy.
dragon.
Zon was.
I think without this, this is going to be a tough one to fight. So the Ocean Drake, the third Drake of the game, an easy pickup for the side of the Crab Wranglers.
Oh man, well, you know, the scoreboard doesn't lie here. It is definitely 4-10.
Yeah, Atom definitely blocking Batman from trying to get in this. He's just going to make sure that if he does want to jump in, he's going to cause problems. Cam is getting caught up in the top lane by Dark Wenser. So just making sure that top lane turret doesn't get taken for free as well. Do not think Dark Wenser is needed for the team fight. This is starting to get dicey. The dragon's still going down. He's just flashed into the
too early though.
Singular Bread gets it. There is, of course, this big engagement from Batman.
Whoa.
From Orn coming through. And the Crab
Big News though.
A massive culling in the face of Big News. news. Atom going down 2, Singular Bread going down 2. They were so slow at taking that dragon, and that is a big swing of momentum in the favor of Eclipsing Tides. You didn't have your big teamfight helpers. No Stubby, no Dark Wenser. Yeah, your Zyra Khan pair off real nice, but they are going to get shredded in the face of a culling.
In the meantime, in the top lane, though, we did see that Cam did go down, which is actually something that opens up a little bit more onto the map. That is probably the bigger issue in terms of making sure that the late game isn't as easy, as much as Easy is having a relatively easier time with the team kind of being built around him right now. For them to deal with something so difficult as the Rise. Rise is only on those 3 stacks, while we do have 3 minutes ahead, likely 4, or just about 4 here, coming in from the Galio on his, as well as a much larger item lead. We've got like 2 items, 10 stacks of Dark Seal, and I'm not sure how much more Dark is actually sitting on. But not much, apparently. You just picked that up. But it's enough to where it is definitely spelling a problem for when he does join in these team fights, considering he wasn't. In fact, the 2 largest AoE damage dealers not being in the last team fight is one of the things that definitely gave that fight over. So when we do once again see a full team fight, it could definitely be scary, and we look like, oh, Cam.
Yeah, Cam is just caught in the top lane. Stubby and Atom taking this one down with a plum. It's going to make a bit of a meal of it, but Stubby is getting there. Singular Bread is caught in the river by Easy. That is going to be the tidal wave into the bubble. Singular Bread is absolutely shredded by the side of Easy. Easy has been putting on a clinic this fight. Stubby does not have access to the ult, has already used that to take
Galio's
down
coming
Cam,
up, though.
but that is a big problem. Galio is coming, but Batman should be able to bounce away from that. The Ornhorn goes wide from EX, not going to get what he needs, but big news is needed to probably put some work in here as Adam is getting poked out. Easy taking a lot of damage. There's the quickness from the side of Adam, but this is a fantastic disengage from Zon Lilac, making sure they can't get in. Now, Batman is getting caught. Batman is going to drop into the blobs, but are you going to be able to take those down with the support? Easy and Zon Lilac in the top side of the river. Atom will get the kill, not where you want to see it, as this is another engage. Atom dashing forward, the taunt landing onto Easy. Dark Wenser tidies this one up, and it's a quick turn to the Baron. Singular Bread's back on the map. He's coming along for the ride.
You know, even though I may have scuffed it when I did the interview by not recording my own audio, I did do an interview with Dark and Okina, big news, and they did have a mention to me that Dark, in pretty much every one of the times where they have been brought up throughout their their exploits, through every league that they've gone through Titan and all the other ones, it has been on the back of Dark really just forcing issues throughout the game, and it is showing. Dark is really just kind of putting this game on his back right now. Stubby as well. We can't discount him for what he's doing. And they are definitely showing the prowess that they have on these champions and what they really want to do in this game.
Yeah, Stubby has done well, Dark's done well. The whole team has come together a lot differently. We're now 14 kills to 8, about 5,000 and a bit gold ahead. Batman hasn't had the same impact, so this Jarvan looking to be this power pick over the course of this series. But Dark Wenser was there, Stubby was there, and you just had a much better fight. It's now all about clearing vision and focusing on objectives. You know, the Dragon Soul will be coming up in a minute, and so it's now really on the side of the Crab Wranglers to push the issue as best they can, to be able to, you know, get the Baron pushes going, get those lanes pushed out, and then take advantage of what's going on. So a tough situation for them to be in. The top lane's already pushed out, so now I imagine the Crab Wranglers are going to be rotating around the map. We do see a group already in the mid lane coming together there. This 4-1, or the 1-4 if you will, coming through. Even Stubby just grouping up the team now.
There's a Roa that's about to be finished in mid lane here too. That's a good mention.
Yeah, the rower of Dark Wenser is going to
cause a problem.
Dark Wenser has caught Easy.
That was a lot of
dash
damage.
and flash. He's not going to be a part of this fight. EX is trying to get around on the backside onto Big News, and Stubby not able to do that either, and denied. Yeah, Easy is now well away. Easy is backing.
Dragon's up. This is soul.
Spawns. Yeah, this is a free soul for the side of the Crab Wranglers. They are not able to stop this. Zon, Lilac, Cam, and Batman trying to get involved, but the tidal wave's already down. They sidestep the bubble.
Oh,
EX
no.
is not able to do it, and
Quickness.
here's the quickness, followed by Dark Wenser,
Oh.
followed by the slicing Maelstrom. They have been
back
absolutely
in.
shredded. Batman, what are you doing? You can't go in like that. It's a double kill for Stubby. Easy is back, but you want to be nowhere near this fight. A fantastic team fight execution from the Crab Wranglers. This dragon is disappearing, and this game is disappearing from Eclipsing Tides.
Man, that was something. Needless to say, that was something there. There's a lot that can be done within those situations where you've got your primary damage dealer kind of off to the side. They almost got picked. They're now outside of the rotation. The one thing that you don't want to be doing is trying to start a fight into a team fight comp while you don't have your main damage dealer there. You are very behind right now on this rise, and it is just getting to the point of where he's looking at having the 10 stacks on his Roa, and it very much has sealed the deal for creating a lot more pressure on them for what they can do and what they cannot do now, because it is all on them to kind of huddle down and get to a point where they can scale up. Maybe that's kind of where I'm at here. We are hitting the point though where Ornn items are starting to become a reality, but the other side of that reality is that there is a what are we looking at right now, an 8k gold lead in favor of Crab Wranglers.
Yeah, a full 8,000 gold lead on their side, and really complete control of the map. Right, they have the bunch of turrets down. There's only one outer inner turret remaining. Apologies. In that top side of the map, all of the other outers are gone, and they need to start looking honestly for one of these inhibitor turrets. The Baron has, of course, been way past its due, and they are going to be able to cause some of those problems. So this has been big. I think a lot of help needed on this side. Stubby just farming it up in the bot lane. They're just looking for a team fight at some point. Atom can now go fishing, right? Maybe 3 levels down, but probably not even that scared of Cam, who still hasn't finished that Roa. This is going to be another team fight looking at about a minute and a half as the Baron comes back up.
We might see the Roa pop here though. That could be the saving grace. You never know.
I don't know. If you're gonna let Stubby get
Yeah,
on
there
you,
it is.
then
Hey,
you're
Roa on Cam. We got it. 27 minutes in. We're good to go. Oh
Yeah,
man, that was
I
a
mean-
long wait though.
Yeah, that is a very late Roa. I mean, I'm not an expert on the current build of the item and its cost, but I remember back in the day, Roa was, always supposed to be done around like the 12, 13 minute mark.
Yeah, so you
get
go like around like 22, and I mean, like, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, like Dark definitely got it a little bit later too, but he also ended up getting the stacks on on his what is it, the dark seal.
Dark
Why am I forgetting? I
Seal.
literally play mid. I will have you know that I am a mid laner. I've played this game long enough to know that item. But yeah, it's we're looking at a lot more happening here, and it looks like, speaking of Dark, he's also just picked up he's picked up Azanias. Oh boy, so we've got some delay in the engage that can happen as well here too, and he's looking for what might be an angle here. He's over at the backside, and we've got side lane pressure matched over from the Kennen as well too. TPs are available, but we have X popped over here in the corner, and I'm wondering who's going to be more useful in this fight here and what's going to happen. Whoever kind of gets this one, I want to say it right now, is pretty much has the game, right? Like we can say that it's in the pocket of whoever controls this next team fight. I can confidently agree that if Crab Wranglers do get this opportunity, that will be the case, but we do have a little bit of a wait in the wings over off to the side here at the Baron.
Oh,
They're
no,
not too
I
sure,
hate
and
this.
there might be a bit of a collapse here while there's nothing that's really being able to be brought over, and there's a ton of AoE CC that can be brought in. They know that maybe something's up, but not too sure where. Dark, where are you doing? Who's standing where right now?
Yeah, this is a desperation play.
Oh,
They've
I
been
see
fouled
him.
by the blue. It doesn't matter. The whole play relied on
Oh,
that.
they're
Stubby is coming around on
everybody.
the top side. This is a massive
Oh,
target.
no.
Stubby on the flash, the slicing maelstrom. This is an absolute destruction. He is going to eat a massive portion of the culling. Easy has got away, and Atom is chasing him out of the fight. EX hasn't been able to make the play. It's a
Stubby
double kill
walking
for
out of the-
Stubby. Cam is still going. Batman is about to go down. Easy gets felled by Atom. A little supportal combat, and it's going to be the realm warp away from the side of Cam. So this Baron is absolutely free. free for the side of the Crab Wranglers if they want to do it, but they may be ignoring it for now, just running it down mid with just Cam available. They can take this turret, take this inhibitor, spin it around, and then just get the Baron and close out the game how they want. That is so demoralizing for Eclipsing Tides. They set up one play. Their play was hide on bush and then get through the rest of that. This inhibitor is going to go down, and it could be a potential just end. There's still 10, 13, 11, some double digits. But yeah, get that top lane pushed in. I really like that. And then, of course, just go back and grab the Baron. It's free of charge. You've got the Ocean Soul. You're at full health anyway. And yeah, you're going to be in a great position after that.
Oh, yeah, that's... I liked the idea. Don't get me wrong. But it also was really bad. Like, if the whole position there was, if you do get found out, you lose horribly. And
yeah.
if you were to find the execution, it needed to be an instant pick, and there wasn't any I guess gusto or any sort of initiative that was actually brought up from when they did see somebody. They were waiting for more, and they overweighted by quite a bit, because that whole time Crab Wranglers had to have been like, there's something up here. Where are these guys? And when you're doing the process of elimination, you're like, well, there's not that brush there.
Oh,
so,
no, not again.
Oh,
they're trying the same play down on the dragon.
Okay.
They're throwing out the blue ward, but if EX is showing, so this could be a little bit of a bait.
Hey, you got the Fnatic lull picture in the back, right? Is this?
Yeah.
Oh, they got
That's
something.
a big catch. Big News is absolutely gone, but I don't know if Big News is the problem. This is a turn directly onto the Elder from the side of Eclipsing Tides.
Oh
this
boy,
could be
this
the
could
swing
be
they
rough,
need.
though.
I
You
can't
still have
believe
Darks
this has
engaged.
worked. Dark's waiting. Where is Stubby? Stubby is coming through from the
Stubby's
other
on the
side.
backside
Atsu's
waiting
going.
too.
The
Oh
quickness
boy,
is in.
here we
The
go.
quickness is in. Singular Bread. There is the
Every
first kill
time.
for Stubby. There's the hero entrance. Slicing Maelstrom has done a number on it, but the Ornhorn is coming through. EX is clinging on in the backline. That's going to be a shutdown for the side of Cam. This one's getting dicey. The ult's
More
been
damage.
used. EX is still around. He's got to get away from Stubby.
Oh,
Singular
Stubby,
Bread
though.
is so low. Stubby is still playing this game. Dark Wenser is going. Stubby to clean this one up. Here's into Batman. Does have to destroy the Bloblets. We covered that one earlier. And they are still alive. That fight was way too close. Way closer than it should have been. But it's still an Elder Dragon for the side of Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. I don't like that play was closer than it should have been. But at least we got some gameplay out of this one. The mid-wave is, of course, pushing in as well. Dark Wenser has access to the teleport if he wants to use it. Stubby's is not up yet, but that could be a potential way out.
You know, I think I was a little bit more worried than I should have been, because it's really hard to follow team fight. Let's be honest. League of Legends is not exactly easy to follow what's going on in team fights most of the time. I didn't realize until midway through there that Easy was already dead. He was the first one to die in that team fight. And when I saw that, I said, oh, yeah, no. Travelinger's we got this. Because...
Yeah, that was the big thing. I mean, they lost Big News, right? But like the focal point of this team, as we talked about all night, is the bot lane, and that's the big thing. The one thing I will say about this exchange, though, is that is time taking that fight, taking that Elder. That is time you're not using the Baron to push. This push is gonna be a little bit harder. I think just a quick group and 5 with another team fight, even under a tower, should do it for the side.
They're ending it out clean. Come on, Dawes, give them some credit. Don't you want to see a clean game? We haven't seen a clean game from these guys ever. This is the cleanest game I think I've seen, at least.
I want to see a team fight under the towers, but that's exactly what I want. As the second inhibitor is going to fall in the top lane, the bot lane is really far away, so it could be a bit of a push. That is going to be a miss on the bubble from Zon Lilac. Oh, we're now getting those bars up. I love seeing the bars.
You wanted the team fight under tower. You're getting it.
That is going to be a quick one for Singular Bread, taking it through. The Ornhorn comes through, does nothing. It's going to be the slicing Maelstrom, so that's one for Stubby. The hero's entrance coming through on the Galio. He's going for it. They're diving. Easy dice in the fountain. Cam is trying to fight back desperately. There is, of course, going to be some kills. This is going to get in the fountain. Cam is dead in the fountain. That one is going to go over. And Big News.
This perfect game.
Big News takes down the Nexus. They did go a little bit hard at the end, but oh my, ending with a 17,000 gold lead, a 30-12 discrepancy. Team Ambition Crab Wranglers level it up 1-1.
Yeah, they definitely did level it up in that game there. That is for sure. As we swap over to looking at the stats, man, I was lounging midway through that game, and then I actually started sitting up.
Yeah, let's just do the rundown, because the rundown is huge here, right?
It is. Yeah.
That is going to be Let's start with Stubby. He is, you know, 7,000 gold up comfortably with a not quite the Flame Horizon, but a massive differential in that one.
I think you can call that a Flame Horizon when you're that up high in your CS. And also 15-0 though. Like, let's be honest, like, that's basically.
I'm sorry, no, them's the rules. Them's the rules. It's 100 CS differential, and I stick by it. But 15-0 on this cannon, absolutely ridiculous. Way more impact than the side of EX in that game. The jungle, a massive difference there as well, pushing towards that 5k mark. You know, 5, 4, and 20. Singular Bread was setting it up, and the other person knocking them down. It wasn't just Stubby. The 4, 11, and 22 of Dark Wenser taking a smaller, you know, gold lead, but putting in that work as well. The big focus point was easy on the side of ET and was falling behind a little bit. Nearly 1,000 gold there, a little bit in CS, but Big News was still able to put down damage, and of course a big change in the supports there as well. So a lot to unpack in that one. Let's pop up the damage and see where it came from. I have a feeling I know.
I got a feeling too. I'm curious about what your take is and what you think before I actually click this button here.
It's got to be Stubby. I mean, Stubby definitely picked up a lot of kills. Yeah, but I mean, just, it was all well round, right? Like I think the solo laners definitely showed off the side of the Crab Wranglers there. Really good effort though. Fair play to the side of Eclipsing Tides. That Rise was able to put out a lot of damage. Easy put up some big numbers there as well on the Lucian, but it just wasn't enough to swing this game. So the series is tied. There's 3 more to decide who can do it, and we're gonna have to take a little break and see exactly who can kind of seize control of this series in game number 3.
And it sounds like we might have Zem popping in, and you know, maybe I'll continue on the color and form him in kind of thing. We give Dawes a little bit of a break here. You can take care of the cat that has been, you know,
hidden
begging
away
for his attention. George, George, you get.
A break.
We'll talk soon. See you very soon.
All right, everybody, welcome back here at Titan Esports for our Game 3 in this best of 5 between Team Ambition Crab Wranglers and Eclipsing Tides. I am Zemanon, and I will be joining Lucan for this match as we give Daz a bit of a break after that banger. I finally climbed out of my my hole from traveling, and I'm finally here at this point, Lucan.
He
and
just
in time.
got off the plane.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
is actually, he's in the airport right now.
100%
It conveniently looks
true.
like his room. We've got great green screen setups set for behind him right now. And conveniently, he kept his audio setup completely in his backpack / suitcase because he has a combination of those two. That doesn't matter though, Zem.
Yeah.
Okay, we just saw a fantastic showing from Crab Wranglers here into Eclipsing Tides, and it definitely showed the cracks that Eclipsing Tides has in the way that they've been playing. And I'm curious to know if they're going to be able to pull off the same thing here, as we're going to have to look towards the draft for when that happens up here. And I'm going to be asking you the question on, even though I don't even know if you know what's happening right now. I mean, just getting off the plane, you had no internet access.
I saw 15-0 Stubby. I caught the end
of
the last match there. So honestly, kind of brought a tear to my eye seeing Stubby pop off like that, because I think so much of the season it was like Singular Bread who's like, hey, just go chill up there, Stubby. Weak sided up. We got this. You're gonna help us out at the team fights. You're gonna be super important by the end of the game. So to see Stubby on the cannon, 15-0, popping off, made me really proud.
Do you hear that? Daddy Zem is proud of you, Stubby. That's what we want to hear. So, Zem, you actually sound like you're ready to like cry. Like, man, you just made me so proud.
I was like, you know, like the end of the Breakfast Club with the fist pump right at the end when I saw he's 15-0. I'm like, let's go, Stubby.
I just hope Stubby's not like, no, you, Dad.
I never wanted to be a cannon main, Dad. That's your dream, not mine.
I wanted to play weak side. Now they know that I can do stuff. But we're in draft already. It looks like we're going to have to swap over to that as much as we're joking around. It looks like the first band coming out, instead of seeing, what did we see every time? You don't know. We were seeing something different. It wasn't Wukong before, I'll have you know that much. But we've got the Wukong ban already tossed in here. I'm wondering what the adaptation is definitely going to be as these are going back and forth here. Definitely tossing out the Aurelian Soul as well. I think it was, honestly, I'm actually struggling. Can somebody check? It was Swain. Swain is left up. So Swain is left up compared to every other draft. And we're gonna have to see how that's going to turn out, because we do have the Vigar ban once again, the Sivir ban once again, and we're not gonna be seeing Jarvan in this game because Jarvan Galio combo in the last game was absurd. Having to engage with it just to kind of eliminate it is gonna be definitely a strong suit here. Lulu was the last ban that was done in the previous portion of the draft from Crab Wranglers, and it looks like they're gonna do it again. They don't want to see that champion. This time, Xayah locked down so that we've got a safer pickup for Easy. Makes a lot of sense considering that in a lot of these fights, even though he was getting ahead in certain portions of the game, when he was the one that could be locked down, it was not easy for Easy.
There you go. You got him there. No, but I agree with you. I think this is actually a really nice adaptation from Eclipsing Tides when you have to make an adjustment because you got stomped that game, right? You can't just run it back. I was going to say, oh, Lucianami is left up. It's not banned, but they did lose that game there. So, and one of the big factors, Crab Wranglers did have Xayah Rakan. So if you draft that away from them, maybe you're getting them off of their comfort as well. The response is Varus from the other side. So
it's very reverse from a safe 80 carry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if they're going to go with like the Kench Thresh style of protection, or if they're going to go with the Lux Ash Karma style of poke.
I feel like Kench would be an interesting one to see pulled off. I haven't seen it in support in a very long time. It looks like we're not going to get Kench, more than likely, unless that's Dark pulling out the Seraphine mid. I'm not too sure. I could see him doing it, but at the very least, we do have a decent amount of burst if that is going to be Varus in any one of his positions outside of like the on hit build. We'll need to see what that's going to be matched up against, because we already have a decent amount of AoE CC, and we do have the kind of disengage factor that can be brought over from the Xayah. Do you just pick up the Rakan here? Do you kind of just lock that down?
I think you have to, right?
I feel like you would have to, right? It's a solid combo, but there's other things that do definitely work with the Xayah, so I'm not too sure what we'll see. Sejuani picked up the Swain. The Swain train, baby. That is actually a champion that we're going to be seeing in the top lane more than likely. There's also the flex pick that it can be brought down into. I do know that X plays the top lane Swain, and it can be fairly oppressive when it is brought up to be played throughout. The way that this can be approached, though, is how is Crab Wranglers going to decide to do this one? They played an excellent way of the team fight last time. What?
Okay. This is exactly. I was literally about to ask, how confident is Stubby feeling right now? And the answer is unbelievably confident, because they lock in Kale here, third pick before the bans. I don't even know if Kale would have been banned in the second stage.
It was banned actually in the first game, and I was questioning it. So it's a Stubby pick then.
Okay, but think over things like the cannon that we just saw him pop off on. So
yeah.
Very interesting choice to go with the Kale, because I was going to say, do you want to just concede the top lane if the Swain is flexed into top lane and play something safe up there? Or because you could get really punished if you don't if you don't even just stay close to even as Kale early game.
I also think that it's interesting to see whenever I think of champions that can like dissuade or elongate team fights, right? Or at least save 80 carries. My usual thoughts, outside of like maybe bringing them back to life with the Gazillion, which is another one for sure. You generally are thinking, oh, well, I'm going to have like, the Kench. I'm going to have the Taric, right? I'm going to have the Lulu. Oh boy, Maokai picked up as well here. There's a lot of magic damage, by the way. That's one of my big thoughts. I hope that's a tank Maokai. I don't even talk about the other bands that are coming across the side here, so I'll leave that to you in a second. But Kale is the last mentioned. Kale is a champion that can definitely save someone in the back line.
Yeah, and Eclipsing Tide sends 4 jungle bands towards a Singular Bread's way, acting like he's doublelift or something out here, wanting to just ban him as much as you can, put him down, and it doesn't matter because he still gets Maokai. Like, I know Maokai got nerfed.
Jax in the top lane though.
Oh, so the Swain is a flex here. Maybe that's why they weren't worried about. Because the one thing I thought when I saw the Aurelia picked up, I'm like, where's the Rakan ban?
Silas.
Did you not anticipate Xayah Rakan as a bot lane? And Crab Wranglers are calling their bluff essentially, as they didn't lock it in. It's going to be Swain's support this time around, which can still be a very oppressive bot lane.
What is the next pick here? I'm actually wondering here, because there's a little bit of flexing that it was happening on Eclipsing Tides' side, and I got a feeling it's the same thing, that like you got to have like a slam down to say something. Oh man, that is.
I was gonna say, I think it is Seraphine mid, because Dark Winter has played it multiple times this season, so I kind of like that option more. However, there are some very spicy ultimates. You would know, Lucan, as the Silas guy in our group.
Yes,
you're just like, getting ready.
I'm looking at this fight here too, and there's a lot of questions that I've definitely got for how this is going to pan out. Okay, for one, is if that's Silas into Seraphine, that's actually a kind of rough matchup for Silas, if I'm being honest. So that's actually not great. If I'm being blunt about it, that is not a fun one to go into, because Seraphine at any point, if she just kind of wants to lock you down, she's able to get a lot of free hits off on you. Silas pretty often wants to go for a combo, which is the EWE into the all-in, at least within lane, and also is looking to be effective, you need to have priority within that lane to push and then kind of go in there. At level 6, yeah, you can make an argument saying like, oh, he'll be able to do some stuff, but Seraphine is actually just awful to play into. You want to E in, Seraphine says, oh, well, you dashed there, therefore I just throw down my double, what is the song seam, whatever thing, you know Billy, I don't play by play. You pick up what I'm putting down and lock you in place, and you kind of just get that free Q off. And that happens, and likely would happen pretty often. So if we do see Cam playing the Silas, it's actually not exactly going to go too well in the lane's favor. I definitely think there's also the question too on as to Varus Zyra is actually a well-known and very strong original, like OG bot lane combo. And they are that for a very good reason. They have the ability to lock down once the 6 hits for sure, right? The other end of it too is that Varus can actually slow down, hitting for Zyra, getting the guaranteed root, which will happen in lane to get a guaranteed Q down by the Varus. It's a very oppressive combo to happen too. Yeah, the only concern I have about Crab Wranglers draft here is kind of the question on as to, I guess, the overabundance of magic damage.
Yeah.
But even if I bring that portion up, Kale's not necessarily full magic damage. So, and yeah, I like both of these team comps. Don't get me wrong on that front there too, but they have very similar goals in how they want to approach it. And I'm already looking at an advantage from mid lane and bot lane, the strong suits on that front. My question to you, Zem, is how do you see this jungle matchup going? I know that Maokai got a nerf.
Yeah, so I was going to say Maokai's obviously been nerfed. He is not what he used to be, especially at the beginning of the season here in the Winter Division, right? However, Singular Bread, and not just him, but specifically him, but all of the junglers are most practiced on Maokai this season.
Yes.
So it's better to be, statistically, Maokai was the #1 most played champion this season in the Divinity League. So even if he's been dinged a little bit, the comfort factor in a best of 5 and the team fight utility, and I'd be very surprised if he does not go pure tank in the scenario with how squishy the rest of the team is.
I'll throw it out there. If you do go pure tank, your clear is garbage. So that is one area to definitely. I think you need to kind of.
But you don't
grab,
need,
like,
yeah, but you don't need Maokai to really.
You don't. No,
you know.
for sure. But for those early rotations and to kind of match the speed of the jungle, like Sejuani, I think is definitely going to be ganking a lot more early. There's going to be a lot more forced opportunities that can happen across the map. I'm very much. We also do have the whole conversation of, Silas plus Jax plus Sejuani. They're likely going to be playing onto the top side of the map. And if that is the case too, Kale is a scaler. If they can set her behind, it is going to be rough. But if we do see Stubby live, if you have faith in Stubby, and
the Church of Stubby.
Somebody said Silas support. It's not Silas support. I just checked. I was concerned for a second. If we do see Stubby live throughout these, and you have that faith in Stubby and that he is going to be able to do that, then we also could just see a lot of wasted time in the top lane, leading into a sweep from there. But we're gonna have to see how that pans out in that end too, though.
Yeah, I think one of the things we can talk about here is the Swain flexibility that Eclipsing Tides showed. Like, as you mentioned, it could have been a top lane specialty pick because top lane Swain is just completely oppressive. Same as like Lilia Swain and like all these other champions that are not supposed to be top laners that just ruin our lives up on that island. Honestly, is infuriating. So I'm happy to see Swain is in his other BS nonsense role that he shouldn't be, of support.
You can say it. It's bullshit. It is very much bullshit.
Swain is legitimately inferior. If you don't have a dash or a spell shield like the Sivir that was banned, if you don't have a way out of the Nevermore, like, it is infuriating to play against. Especially you get that pull, Xayah starts throwing her feathers back. Like, I know you talked, Lucan, about the synergy Varus and Zyra can have with each other to help each other land their skill shots, but I think Xayah and Swain can also kind of do a similar strategy.
I agree. Don't get me wrong on that front. The one area where I'm kind of going to be looking to Swain, though, is Swain kind of lives or dies in a lot of positions off of his first power spike. Mm-hmm. Putting him in the support role, yes, you have, like, if you have the dominant oppressive lane, you control that lane. You own that lane, and you are able to kind of get that lead, and you're able to build it up to where your first power spike is still there. Now, if you don't, though, then you're going to be behind where a normal Swain would be to getting what is normally the Rylai's power spike, which is considered one of the strongest item choices on that champion right now. And if you can't get that off, and you can't get that first item, and you can't get to be relevant within your R-press team fight, slow down, everybody's scared and running, and they can't really do much while you're just, draining them. I could use another word that I usually word some other times, but I'll use draining them quite often. It's not going to be great if you can't achieve that goal. So that's the area where I would be concerned. But I do think, and talking about this conversation towards like the late game portion, there is of course always that Sylas factor. If Sylas gets through this lane and he is not dominated by the Seraphine, if he gets to that point of where he can start taking the Seraphine ult, the Varus ult, the Maokai ult, the Zyra ult, probably not the Kayle ult, honestly. Like, it maybe would be useful once, but not likely often kind of situation, right? Very circumstantial. But if he ends up taking all of those other 4 ults, it could spell a very, very sad, takeaway. That then turns the strengths of what is the Sylas quote? Come on, Sam, you gotta know that one where he's like, your strength is mine.
I believe you. So, yeah, I think you nailed it.
If Dawes was here, Sylas has an English accent that Dawes would know it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. He's obligated.
Your strength is mine. Right, that one, right? Probably something like that.
It's like, oi, governor. That's what you would have said.
Well, I don't know about that one. Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, governor. We're hunting mages tonight.
Mages are back on the menu.
Mages are back on the menu. All right, well, we're gonna find if mages are back on the menu in a short break here. Well, Zem gets warmed up, I'm getting warmed up, and I'm hyped up here. Well, what are we gonna find out here? Who's gonna win? Is it Eclipsing Tides? Is it the Crab Wranglers? I'm not saying Team Ambition Crab Wranglers. That's too long. Even though I just said it. Let's find out after this short break. Where's the pause button? Where's the pause button? I need to go.